In the quiet town of Maplewood, Ohio, life moved at a gentle pace. Kids rode their bikes along winding sidewalks. Neighbors waved from porches, and the hum of cicadas filled summer evenings. Among its many streets, one rescue center stood at the edge of town, a small, weathered building filled with hope, second chances, and soft meows from behind the cages. Whiskers, a Bengal cat with striking golden eyes and sleek, marbled fur, didn't always look like he did now. Just a few months ago, he had been a shadow of himself, thin, frail, and barely clinging to life. A trap had cruelly caught his hind leg in the woods just beyond the town's edge. By the time a hiker found him, his energy was gone, his fur was dull, and he'd given up hope. At the Maplewood Rescue Center, the staff had done their best. With patience and care, they nursed him back to health. The leg wound healed, his weight returned, and his coat regained its shimmer. But even after 3 months of waiting in his cage, watching countless cats go home to new families, no one chose Whiskers. Perhaps it was the sadness still lingering in his eyes. Or maybe his early days in the shelter left him shy, sitting quietly at the back while more energetic cats begged for attention. Whatever the reason, each week passed without a single adoption inquiry. Then came a Saturday morning in October, the kind with golden leaves and a crisp breeze that hinted at the coming winter. The Henry family stepped through the rescue center's doors that day. Henry, the father, wore the kind of weariness that only long work hours could bring. His wife, Anna, radiated warmth, the kind that softened a room. Between them stood a wide-eyed 3-year-old named Emily, clutching a stuffed rabbit and humming a tune only she could understand. They hadn't come with a specific cat in mind, just a feeling, a desire to add something small and joyful to their family. As they walked past rows of eager paws and whiskers, Emily tugged at her mother's coat and pointed to the last cage on the right. That one, Mommy, the sleepy one. Whiskers raised his head, slow and calm. His eyes met Emily's, and for a brief moment, it was as if the world held its breath. Anna knelt beside the cage and read the note clipped to the door. Whiskers, male, Bengal, approximately 2 years old, rescued after injury, quiet, observant, waiting for a home. Something stirred in her chest. She looked at her husband, who was already watching Emily giggle as she pressed her hand to the glass. Without saying a word, Henry nodded. That afternoon, Whiskers left the rescue center, nestled in a carrier beside Emily's car seat. The ride home was filled with giggles, soft meows, and the quiet hum of hope returning. From the moment Whiskers stepped into their home, he bloomed. Gone was the timid cat who lingered in corners. Within a week, his energy returned. He chased bouncing balls down the hallway, leapt onto sunny windowsills, and most of all he stayed close to Emily. She read him her picture books, one finger trailing along the words. She pretended to be a doctor, gently placing toy stethoscopes on his chest. And every night, without fail, Whiskers curled beside her in bed, purring softly until her breathing slowed into dreams. To Whiskers, the Henrys were more than family. They were his purpose, his miracle. It was a Tuesday night in early December when the fire started. A faulty wire in the kitchen wall sparked quietly unseen, unheard. By midnight, the smoke began to spread. Whiskers stirred. The scent hit him first, sharp and unfamiliar. His ears twitched, his body tensed. Something was wrong, very wrong. He leapt from Emily's bed and bolted down the hallway. The door to the master bedroom was closed. But that didn't stop him. He scratched and yowled, louder and louder, desperate and unrelenting. Inside, Henry jolted awake. Anna, do you hear that? She blinked, groggy. What is it? It's Whiskers. Something's wrong. Henry opened the door, and a wave of smoke greeted him. His eyes widened. Anna, the house is on fire. Panic surged through him as he turned and raced toward Emily's room. Shouting her name, Whiskers was already sprinting ahead, leading the charge. They reached her just as the smoke began to seep in. Henry scooped Emily into his arms. She clung to her stuffed rabbit. Frightened but safe. Together, with Whiskers at their feet, they rushed out the front door. Just as the cold night air hit their faces, a loud crack sounded from inside. Flames erupted behind them, engulfing the kitchen in a terrifying burst. Anna cried out. Emily began to sob. But they were alive. 3 minutes later, the fire trucks arrived. Neighbors came running in robes and pajamas, offering blankets and comfort. It took over an hour to contain the blaze. The Henrys stood on the curb, huddled together, smoke clinging to their clothes. The house would need serious repairs. But none of that mattered. Henry turned to the gathered crowd and pointed to the small Bengal cat perched protectively near Emily. "It was Whiskers," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "He saved us." The next morning, news spread like wildfire across Maplewood. Brave Bengal cat saves family from house fire. Photos of Whiskers curled in Emily's lap appeared in the town paper. A local cafe started offering Whiskers Hero Blend coffee, donating proceeds to the rescue center. Children left hand-drawn cards at the Henrys' doorstep, stick figure cats with capes and hearts. But Whiskers didn't care about the fame. All he wanted was to curl up beside Emily again, safe and sound. Weeks passed. The Henrys temporarily moved in with Anna's parents while the house was repaired. Whiskers adjusted quickly, sticking close to Emily wherever they went. One snowy morning, as Emily gently brushed Whiskers' fur, she whispered, "You're my superhero, Whiskers." He blinked slowly, nudging her hand with his head. And somehow, in that quiet moment between a child and her cat, everything in the world felt right. The Maplewood Rescue Center saw a surge in adoptions after Whiskers' story spread. Families who had once walked by the shy cats now stopped to listen, to ask, to give second chances. The director of the shelter, a kind woman named Marlene, stood beside Whiskers' old cage one day and smiled. "Looks like you did more than just save a family," she said softly. "You reminded an entire town what love can do." Whiskers' story reminds us that even those overlooked, broken, or forgotten can become heroes. When we open our hearts to the vulnerable, whether animal or human, we often discover that the ones we save are the very ones who end up saving us.